count them, three restaurant secrets that will increase your sales 100,000 in 2025.
Get your knife and fork ready to dig into a plate full of profits on the DFY Restaurant Revolution podcast with your host, recovering restaurant owner, Michael Thibault.
Hey, welcome. And my name is Michael Thibault, recovering restaurant owner and caterer, turned author, speaker, coach, owner of DFY Restaurant Marketing, serving the independent restaurant community since 2008, getting you more new customers and getting your existing customers to come back quicker, spending more with absolutely no work on your part. And the reason we do these podcasts / videocasts is so you can have a better restaurant and a better life. That's our goal. Welcome. And this episode is very special to me because we're closing out 2024 and just catapulting into 2025, right? And I've got some awesome marketing tips, simple things that you can implement in your restaurant that are going to increase your sales, that basically don't cost you any money at all. And these are guerrilla style, grassroots, whatever you want to call it, marketing techniques that will make a huge impact if you implement them in your restaurant, because that's what the game is all about, right? Implementation. And these are from some of the things that I've shared with different restaurant owners in the different groups that I mentor and help increase their sales and work on operational challenges and things that have worked for me personally in the past when I owned my 6 restaurants over a 25-year time span. So these are proven and tested things that if you implement them, and they're fun, they're actually fun to do. You're going to love them and your staff's going to love them because your cash register is going to be ringing. So let's get into this. These are 3 secrets, 3 different techniques that are used once you get your customers in the door. So these are not new customer acquisition techniques. These are strategies, systems, things that you can do to make more money once your customers are actually in and sit down at the table, okay? So these are pretty cool, and restaurant owners love them because a lot of them have to do with operations, okay? So this is fun. And these are things that I encourage you to try next year, or if you're a doer, get them done right now. But it's the ability to realize what your superpower is as an independent restaurant owner. And you do have a superpower over those big corporate ugly monsters, okay? They have certain superpowers, which are typically they're really good at systems and consistency and attracting staff. Your superpower as an independent restaurant owner is you can move quickly. You don't have that bureaucracy that you have to go through when you're part of a big company or a franchise. You can implement it tomorrow. You can start this stuff today, right? You can go back and talk to your staff and your managers and I got a great idea. Let's try this, okay? Because inaction and inactivity and not doing anything to make your restaurant better is not going to get you where you want to go. And you got to keep moving forward. Keep trying different things. And I'm going to give you 3 great things to implement and try in your restaurant to help you increase sales. So just remember, your secret power is your ability to move quickly and not have to deal with all that bureaucracy crap that the larger companies have to do. So use that to your advantage. Also, I've talked about this a lot before, your ability to create a relationship with your customers. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. They're not going to know, like, and trust Outback Steakhouse, but they will John, who owns Main Street Grill, okay? Because they feel that connection. You have to get that connection through your marketing, through your social media, your emails, your newsletter. Your staff has to just ooze that at the table, right? Remind them, our strength is the relationship that we have with our customers, okay? Again, I'm not talking about getting new customers. That's different. We're going to cover that in another podcast. But today we're talking about getting your existing customers to come back quicker, spending more. Okay, so your 2 superpowers, we went over that. The first secret, I absolutely love this. And as a company, part of our marketing that we do, new customer acquisition for restaurants that is extremely effective is managing their Google business listing and their reviews. So this idea, which I completely forgot about because I haven't owned restaurants, since 2008, but it worked really, really well. And then I gave it to some of my members in our platinum groups, and they're using it, and it's working great. So I'm going to share it with you. This is so much fun. You're going to absolutely love this. So everybody has, getting back to the reviews. Okay, so the client of ours that we manage their reviews, what we do is we watch the reviews every single day, and we have a real person, not AI, monitor and answer reviews on the restaurant owner's part, right? Because I know you guys are busy, and it's important for new customer acquisition that you pay attention and answer the reviews, especially the bad ones, right? You don't want those hanging out there. So he got a bad review for his restaurant. The customer was complaining, went on Google and left a review. The food was good. Tables sucked. We were seated by the door. It's wintertime. It was cold. It was noisy. And we got sat by a bunch of kids, which, it's hard to help that one. But they didn't like where it was, and because all the commotion and because they were close to the door. I feel the same way when I go to a restaurant and they put you at a table because there's no other tables available, and you're like, oh man, that's got to be the worst table in the house, right? And we all have them. You all have that table at your restaurant that you're like, oh man, I hope they don't put the regulars there. You cringe every time you walk by, right? Because it's a crappy table to sit at. So what I did in my restaurants is I implemented the worst table in the house marketing program. All right. So this is where you take a positive, turn it into a negative, and adopt a contrarian view. People love it, but they really, really respond to it now. I believe because of, the explosion of the internet and social media, and you see so many, negative things. People are attracted to that. It's like that car wreck, right? On the side of the road. Like you drive by that accident because you've been waiting 10, 15 minutes. You're like, this better be a good accident because I've been waiting. So people, are attracted sometimes to that negativity and that contrarian view. And in this case, you turn it into a positive. So this is what I did for my restaurants. We had one table, which was by the service station for my servers when they walked out onto the floor, and it was right by the kitchen. So it was noisy and there was a lot of commotion, and, people were walking in and out, behind the wall all the time. But I needed the table because we were packed, right? And more seats, more revenue for the restaurant. So I didn't want to get rid of the table. So what I did was I said, hey, let's call this the worst table in the house. So we had a sign made that we put on the table, and anybody that sat there got a free appetizer, free dessert, and it was labeled the worst table in the house. But I also instructed my staff, anybody that walks by this table, which they all did, I want you to stop by the table and say, real quick, hey, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. That was it. Make it quick. Don't bother them. Just say, hey, thank you for coming in. We appreciate you. That's it. And they get a free appetizer or free dessert, their choice. Right? That's nothing. That costed me nothing. Took me a month of promoting this. After that, on weekends for reservations, I had to have a separate list for the worst table in the house because everybody wanted it. We made it so much fun. And we always gave a great server, and they made huge tips off of it. So it was, everybody wants to know the history of it. Everybody wanted to know the story. So on the sign, we had a story, written about our worst table in the house. Why you're getting a free appetizer, free dessert. Anybody that sat there got that as a perk. It worked great, and it brought in probably an extra 100,000 because the feeling of reciprocity. If you give something for free, and, they're going to do something good in return, they always ended up ordering more. My PPA was always higher for that particular table. So if you got a table in your restaurant that just is horrible, call it the worst table in the house, turn it into a positive, and do something special for them. It will pay off. All right, that's number one. Number two is, what is your main marketing piece when your customers come into your restaurant? Okay, the main marketing piece, I'm sure you already know this, is your menu. All right? You probably need to freshen up your menu. You probably need a redesign. And the way you present your menu, it's got to be clean. It's got to be easy to read. My goodness. Don't make it difficult for somebody to read. I'm getting up there a little bit. I need these now, my readers, right? If I don't have them and I go out in a restaurant and I don't want to put them on, make sure the font is large enough for people to read. Don't go below 12-point font, please. Someone that's doing a menu should know that. But if you pay attention to your menu and different highlighting, your different items, and highlight the ones that are your biggest profit contributors, okay? That's secret number 2. Redo your menu, make it readable, focus in on your high profit contribution items. Now, what I mean by that is not the most expensive, okay? You might have a $40 T-bone steak that you only make $5, $6 on because the steak is so expensive, okay? Or you're selling a $22 plate of chicken fettuccine Alfredo, but you're making $12 on. Okay, you can't take a percentage to the bank. You can't take food cost. You can't take labor cost to the bank. What you can take is cash. And if you have a menu item that you make a good amount of dollar profit on, but maybe the profit margin, the food cost is a little higher, really doesn't matter, okay? Because you can't take that percentage to the bank. You can take cash. So pay attention to your menu, and that's a great opportunity to also raise your prices. If you haven't raised your prices in the past year, now's the time, because everybody knows how expensive things are. But you don't want to price yourself out of the market. So I recommend doing a little market research, see where you fall in the marketplace for your type of restaurant, but also make sure that the customer experience far outweighs what you're charging, because you want people leaving going, wow, that was a deal because of the experience they gave us. That's your superpower over the independents as well, okay? So pay attention to your menu, pay attention to those high profit contribution items that are listed on your menu, and make it easily readable and designed properly. There's Meisel, Cisco, Gordon Foods. They all have on staff, people or contract out that they can help you with the menu. I suggest talking to them because you might be able to get it done for free. All right. So menu, which is your main marketing piece, once they come in and sit down at the table. All right. Number 3, to make extra profit for your restaurant. This is huge. You all know this, but everybody forgets about it. And I'll tell you what it comes down to. 2 things. And I'm talking about upselling at the table. What are you going to upsell? The 3 easiest things to upsell at the table is appetizers, okay, desserts, and alcoholic beverages, okay, or non-alcoholic beverages, because those are becoming a huge thing in the marketplace. You can see more and more of that for 2025. There's lots of options out there, okay, so it's time to embrace that. All right, so how do you effectively upsell at the table? An appetizer, a dessert, or an alcoholic beverage? It comes down to training and marketing collateral, okay? Training is huge with your staff. A lot of training when it comes to alcohol sales. I spent a lot of time on this with my staff when I had my restaurants, and it paid off huge. Train them to upsell. But you got to tell them why. You just can't tell them, you need to do this because that's what I'm telling you. It's part of your job. No, the customer's going to have a better experience because they're getting a better product, and you're going to make more tips. Okay? That's what they want to hear. It's good for the customer. It's good for me. Let me give you an example. You go and you order a vodka soda at a restaurant. The server that just assumes they want the house vodka, you're losing money. They're not having as good of experience, and the server's losing tips. What they should do is vodka soda. Customer orders vodka soda. Great. Tito's. Would you like Tito's with that? Stoli Absolute, anything that's the next tier, the upsell, because it's going to taste better. They're going to make more tips, and you're going to make more sales at the table. But they need that training, okay? So that's one way to upsell, alcoholic beverages at the table. Another thing that if you serve wine, this was huge for me, huge. If you serve wine, and I did this at a Polynesian restaurant. I'm a wine guy. I wouldn't say I'm a, sommelier, but I've been buying, wines commercially for 40 years. And this worked better than anything else for wine sales. Wine education, yes, very good. Your servers, every time I did a wine training, and I did one a month for my staff, I always sold more wine. But here's a little thing I did. I put wine glasses on the table. When people came in and they sat down, that was a visual cue for them to order wine. If they didn't order wine, we take the glasses off, okay? But we left it on until the server went out and took the drink order at the table. All right, when they see that visual cue, and you can do this with anything, at the table, that tells them it's a cue for them. Oh, they serve wine. I wonder what kind they serve, right? That's when the server training comes in. But having that visual cue at the table, it's the same thing with a cocktail menu, right? You want to sell fun cocktails. They don't know what you have. You got to have pictures. You got to have names. Either have a cocktail book, which, cocktail menu, or a page, or something on the table tent, whatever it is. That's what corporates do really well. Steal that from them. Okay, but you need those visual cues at the table. All right, same thing with desserts. If you want to sell desserts, this drives me crazy. There's so much money to be made, in the post-selling of desserts. And I'll give you one line that I guarantee you made me over $100,000 in sales each and every year selling desserts. You can have contests, you need to do training, but the number one thing is having a dessert tray, because it forces, you don't have to be a fancy restaurant, but it forces your servers to take it to the table and explain it, okay? They need to see it and they need to hear it, okay, to be sold. I had a casual island Polynesian restaurant, Waves, the last one I sold. We had a dessert tray. We weren't upscale. I had hula dancers walking around the restaurant, but we also had our key lime pie. We had these cool Banana Foster cheesecake spring rolls. Whatever dessert we had it on a dessert tray, and we had 2 or 3 of them. The servers, so they didn't have to wait. They go to the table. This increased my dessert sales tenfold. And here's the other thing. I'll give you this trick. This is an awesome secret. Okay, so what do people say when you go up to the table? Because my servers were like, they were full. They said they were full. Great. They said that, you got to give your servers, tips and training and prompts. So if they say, oh, that looks great, but we're full. Awesome. I tell you what, our key lime pie is award-winning. The owner's recipe makes it himself. Why don't I package up a slice for you so you can take it home and enjoy it later? Okay? So get them to push the carryout for your desserts, all right? If they can't sell at the table. But if you can't do a dessert tray, bottom line is you got to do a menu with pictures and great descriptions. And if you need help doing great descriptions, AI works really, really well. So those are 3 very good techniques. They're going to help you just increase your sales dramatically if you implement them for 2025, and have some fun with them, please. Now, if you need a marketing plan, right, or you need to talk to a restaurant marketing expert, you can, somewhere in this post, it's on my website, dfymarketingsystems.com. There's buttons all over to sign up for a free strategy session. First one's free, and you can meet with one of my restaurant marketing experts and help you plan out your marketing for January, February, March, depending on when you're listening to this for 2025. I highly recommend doing this. It's not a sales pitch. It's how we establish a relationship with future customers, because we want to help. You make more money. You think about us. And we can help you get new customers. That's really what we specialize in. But I wanted to thank you very much. Thank you for this entire year. It's been fantastic. The Red Envelope promotion has been unbelievable for us this year. We're very blessed to be able to help so many independent restaurants get their existing customers to spend more and come back more often, especially in the month of January. But thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and I hope you have a blessed holiday season. And listening to my DFY Restaurant Revolution podcast, like I said, you can go to our website, dfymarketingsystems.com with a S. You can get all sorts of great information, articles, and how-to guides on how to get more customers for your restaurant. And if you're not part of the DFY family, go to our website, get a free membership, hit subscribe, log in, like us, send me an email. We want to hear from you, appreciate you, and you can do this.
Thanks for listening to the DFY Restaurant Revolution podcast. Join us in the revolution by subscribing, rating, and reviewing on your favorite podcasting platform today.